So you're putting your house up for sale, and what is it that you want? You want a fast sale with netting the most amount with the minimum amount of hassle, and I'm going to show you how to do just that. Okay, so let's talk about 3 different types of sellers and 3 different types of solutions. The first one is the seller that the house needs repairs. They don't want to do showings. They don't want people walking through their house. They don't want to have to worry about inspections. And they have a house that needs to be sold that may have a little bit of trouble. So typically what we would do is I would introduce you to one of the investors that I work with, a rehabber or a landlord that would be able to buy your house cash with not having any repairs for inspections, no hassles, no problems. It's a very quick close. So it's the fastest, cleanest, simplest way to sell your house. Number 2 is seller finance. So seller finance is creating a note to be included in the sale of your house. This note can be a balloon payment or go for a full 30 or 40-year term, depending on your individual circumstances and what it is that you are looking to accomplish. So it's also quicker and easier than your typical sale, both for you and the buyer. So the buyer doesn't have to qualify for bank financing, and you in turn don't have to worry about a lender's requirements for the buyer going to settlement. Also, there may be some tax advantages to selling on seller finance, as well as being quicker and easier than your typical sale. So, when you are creating a seller finance transaction, you don't have to worry about things like appraisals and inspections and all the things that are included in a typical sale. So you have a transaction that you can close very fast within 10 days or so as soon as we get title back, and it's also less costly. So a lot of times in a seller finance transaction, there is no real estate commission, so you are able to sell your house for the highest amount of money in the shortest amount of time with the least amount of hassle. So a lot of times these houses are selling at full price because you include the mortgage along with the sale of the house, making it more valuable. And the other thing that I'm seeing more and more is that people want to, 1, create an income stream, and 2, preserve their wealth. So what I mean by create an income stream is when you, as well as being quicker and easier than your typical sale. So when you are creating a seller finance transaction, you don't have to worry about things like appraisals and inspections and all the things that are included in a typical sale. So you have a transaction that you can close very fast within 10 days or so as soon as we get title back, and it's also less costly. So a lot of times in a seller finance transaction, there is no real estate commission, so you are able to sell your house for the highest amount of money in the shortest amount of time with the least amount of hassle. So a lot of times these houses are selling at full price because you include the mortgage along with the sale of the house, making it more valuable. And the other thing that I'm seeing more and more is that people want to, 1, create an income stream, and 2, preserve their wealth. Also, in addition to that, what I'm running into a lot is people are concerned about where to put the profits from the sale of their house. So they are selling a house that they have more than likely lived in for many years, and they will receive a lump sum at settlement. But where do they put the money? People are nervous about what's happening in this economy, what's happening with banks. And so by creating a note, you can preserve your wealth by keeping it in a hard asset like real estate. So when doing this, you would create a payment from the buyer to the seller that comes in every month, and you keep your wealth in the house instead of taking it out and trying to figure out where you are going to put this investment. So there also may be some tax advantages. I would recommend talking to your CPA to see if there are tax advantages to selling this way. In a couple different scenarios, there are ways that you can save on taxes by selling on seller finance. So I would definitely recommend talking to your accountant and seeing if that would be the best way to go. This brings me to the last way to sell your house fast, and that is by listing it. So when you list a house, there are a couple things that I think are really important that I see a lot of times are missed, and I still think it's really relevant even in this market when houses are selling quickly. The number one is staging. So I started a home staging company in 2010, and I had that for a couple years, and now I outsource most of my staging. I do provide some services for staging with my sellers. We'll take some time to go through the house. I'll explain what should be done, what should be taken away, what should be added. And I really think that staging is still relevant in this marketplace. Sometimes people will say to me, why do we have to stage the house? These houses are just flying off the market right now. And I think something needs to be said by the very important time between contract and closing. So yes, houses are selling quickly. They are coming off the market very fast, but also I'm seeing a lot of fallout. So between the time that your house goes under contract to settlement, there are some times that could be very emotionally challenging, where buyers, they get the appraisal, it comes in low, they get the home inspection, there are a couple issues with the house, and we need to hold this transaction together emotionally to get it to settlement. So by staging, it's not so much that you sell your house faster, it's more so to bring in that emotional aspect from the buyer, that they feel emotionally attached to the house, that will help them get over those hurdles. Number two is architectural photography. So I work with a great photographer. I will pay for the photography of your house and the video. So it's so important right now to have great pictures, great video of your house out there, because most buyers are out there looking at the apps, they're looking online, they are seeing your house before they even come to see it. So by having good presentation with the pictures and video of your house, I think that is really paramount, because we want as many eyes as possible and those great pictures and great video. And again, there are so many people to see your house as quickly as possible initially when first getting it on the market. And I think that those pictures are still really relevant. I'm seeing like tons of cell phone pictures out there because people are like, oh, I don't care, just take a couple pictures of the house and throw it out there. I still really believe that by marketing your house to its fullest extent is really the best thing to do. Even though I hear people, they tell me things like, oh, you don't really need to market a house right now. You do. I highly recommend still staging your house, still getting the professional photographs. When you are working with me, I will stage the house with you. I will, if you want full staging, I work with a nice handful of professional home stagers that are the best in the business, along with an architectural photographer. So I think it's still really important to make your house stand out. So that is the end of the video. Thank you for listening to this. And if you would like to work with me, I'm Sharyn Mancini. You can reach me on my cell phone at 609-678-8208. And I look forward to meeting you soon. Thank you.